Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and my NB comrades, back here to Snare Casting, as we are going to be continuing with the Positive Fire Games tournament. Here in the group stages, we're now going to be having QWERTY taking on the side of Burning Fire. One of these two squads will be getting themselves into the playoffs. I'm just kidding. It's only Burning Fire that has that possibility. However, they need to win every single game today in order to be able to make it. So give them your energy if you're a supporter, and let's see whether or not they can do it. I'm Snare, joined by Mo Farah, the legend, the man known across the world. How you doing, cuz?
Sorry, I like to just... You know when you keep doing these intros that make me sound really big and I just come in and say things that are really stupid straight away? I feel like it balances everything out, right? So people don't expect too much straight away. That's the way to go.
All things that must be balanced.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Poor Burning Fire if they have to win every game, because that does not feel good waking up on the day and being like, we need to absolutely smash this.
Yeah.
I can't even put 1 foot wrong.
We have no capacity or room for mistakes. Given that, looking at their draft right now, what do you think? Is this going to give them the ease of execution that they need? They responded to the opening Marana with the 1-2 of the Grimstroke Mars. I imagine that part of the reason for going for the Marana for QWERTY is also to preempt the Phoenix pick. That was a possibility, but Burning Fire, what do you think of this opening duo? I really like Grimstroke right now, but I'm not 100% sure about Mars without like a huge ultimate from another hero.
Mind both these openings. I'm not sure about the Mirana so much. I think Grim Mars is really strong though. But it makes me surprised that, because like Grim Doom, for example, is really good, especially with the most recent Doom buffs, or like Phoenix Mars is still equally as good as well. So it's obviously what the two heroes that they feel like they're most confident with. And I think this hero is really good as well, especially against Mirana, where you have the shield to take with arrow.
Yeah,
it's really nice. And I think this having this hero that could just sit in front and like have spells forced on him is really strong. Because otherwise what happens is, even if you don't kill the Abaddon first, he's just constantly saving people throughout the fight.
Yeah, and just makes it very difficult for you to keep that initiation going. And right now, whenever you only have one primary disable with Quiddy, you're going to be relying a lot on this Mirana stun in the earlier portion of the game. Just being able to insta-purge that off. Very, very good, like you mentioned. And I think like it's always very useful right now, given how much movement there seems to be, not just around the map with smoke gangs, but how important it is to have that positive vision. Even if you don't have good vision, it's a good smoke breaker because you're not as worried about your own life. Although I do see it with this Grimstroke. Do you think it's what? Probably Grimstroke 4, right? To try to get the shot as quickly as possible and then put the Abaddon 5? Or that's probably the configuration here. I can't imagine anything different, right?
I mean, it technically could be like Mars mid Abba 3, but I think, yeah, Grimstroke 4, Abaddon 5. Or maybe like Grimstroke Core, potentially, but most likely not. I imagine they're probably going to pick their one here. Some like Troll or something could be really strong, I think.
Yeah, some Troll, Terrorblade, Medusa. Ooh. Okay. We have been seeing this more and more coming out in this patch, Medusa. I think we actually spoke about it the first time that we ended up doing one of these games. I think it was last week, where almost every game it feels like there is some kind of slot for a style of hero like Medusa. Whether or not it gets picked up is a different story. In this game, playing against Lifestealer, Mirana, Witch Doctor, you have Abaddon. I don't necessarily like Abaddon Medusa as much as like Oracle Medusa, for example, but there aren't that many stuns, not that many disables, not that much Medusa's afraid of, so this can be all the protection that she might require to do well in this game.
Yeah, I'm really annoyed I didn't see this hero. Because they have a really good like draft based around Medusa as well. They have this like team fight enabling spell that allows the Medusa to get all her damage off. I think Abba Medusa is such a crazy combo. And I just love the Snake Lady. She's such a strong hero. So now I'm just depressed that I didn't see it coming. Because I feel like I've let myself down, Snare. As we cast together more and more, you'll understand how much I like this hero. Because every time it gets picked, I get really giddy and happy.
So are you feeling some snakes in your pants of excitement? You're already happy.
Well, I wasn't going to go that far, but yeah, sure. I'm willing to commit.
Oh man. Only thing about the Shadow Fiend into Medusa though as your favorite hero. I don't think it's going to be... I like Shadow Fiend, but not necessarily with heroes like the Lifestealer. I like Shadow Fiend when there's more team fight around him. Right now it feels like he's the only real big bad boy that revs up this ultimate. Everything else has to just go perfectly from the lanes onwards. Whereas Burning Fire can just like sort of consolidate around this Medusa for pretty much the entirety of the game, and I don't see how they break through that with what they have right now from Quiddy.
Yeah, Quirty need to like have a really strong laning stage with the lineup they have at the moment. Because like you say, they don't have this big team fight to work around at the moment. I'm hoping they kind of pick that kind of hero last. I'm not really sure what they're going to go for, but because at the moment they have this like Lifestealer versus Mars, right? Like SF always does well in this 1v1 scenario. I'm really interested to see what they pick here as their 3. Because I don't feel like there's a huge amount left. Maybe some like Underlord hero could be okay.
Also thinking, what do you think about Centaur?
Like Brewmaster.
Let's go old school. Centaur Mirana. Let's go. Let's do it.
Centaur's okay. I don't like it so much against Mars because the Stampede doesn't really do anything for Arena.
Yeah, it's actually one of the saddest things whenever there's a Stampede and everyone's just like running, oh wait, we can't do anything in this area. It's the worst thing ever. They definitely
like, imagine you were in an arena, like 1v1ing somebody, right, in Roman times or whatever, and you were just running around the edge of the arena instead of like fighting inside.
Alright, look, okay, check this out. Hear me out, right? If you run fast enough, you can run on the walls themselves and generate torque. And you can go up and scale the walls, and that's how you escape the arena. So Stampede is actually the Mars counter.
Dude, you're so smart. Oh, they go for the Doom. Ooh, okay. Their lanes are so greedy. But like, if they're able to get to this point at 20 minutes, they're going to have 3 really farmed cores who are all going to have a decent amount of net worth. And there's the other hero that got buffed pretty significantly today.
Oh god, Death Prophets, Death Prophets. So, yeah, a hero that did not need buffs, a hero that was definitely still very, very playable, is now even more so. They pick it up now to put into the mid lane. It gives them some push that they were lacking before. Buttresses their team fight even more with the Exorcism. Also, there's so many Doom targets now. Who do you Doom here in all of these fights? Because you don't want the Arena to be active. You don't want the Exorcism Spirit Siphon combo. I mean, Zitrax, you want to be able to kill him without him just activating Stone Gaze. But who actually gets the debuff applied onto them?
You doom the Mars before he gets his spells off, or you doom the DP before she gets her spells off. Because without the arena or anything, they don't really have this capability to be able to keep people in place. Like, they don't have great lockdown. So if you can stop the Mars getting his spells off, this Dusa is going to be much easier to kite and bice. And so it's going to be really important for QWERTY that they're able to get the initiation off themselves every time. And it's going to be, so it's like, it's arena versus Doom. You know, who can get their spells off first, who can find the right target. I prefer Burning Fire's draft. I think they have this like lineup that makes more sense and is easier to play. If Direside can get to this point in the game where they're like 20 minutes, lanes have all gone relatively well. Our Doom has an extra 240 GPM because of Devour, and we'll just start running down lanes with like BKB Halberd or something on our Doom. And yeah, it should be fine.
We'll see if they're going to be able to achieve that end, because here we go. Game number 1. Burning Fire taking on the side of QWERTY. QWERTY, a little bit less pressure on them as they are already eliminated from Group D. No possibility of getting into the playoffs. But the side of Burning Fire needs everything to go right. So, Nongrata, I kind of feel like this Mars is going to be the place where this game really turns for them. He needs to be the one at the forefront of every single fight. Like you mentioned, without this arena being positively applied, their own lockdown and team fight isn't that strong. So this top lane cannot go poorly by any stretch of the imagination. To be fair though, it isn't to a lifestealer lane, so I'm not that terrified. If I'm the Mars here, I'll get my experience, I'll be fine.
Yeah, they should both just farm really. If they're able to kill the Mars somehow early on, then the lifestealer will do really well. But I don't think that should happen. Yes, there's a Witch Doctor and whatever, maybe Mirana roams over, but I don't know, they should be okay.
To prevent that, do you think they should just lane Insomnia top? Just make sure that the Abaddon is nearby, so even if they get any of these spells on debuffs out onto Mars, you just Aphotic Shield them. Because you have to be imagining that like Zitrax is going to catch up later on the Medusa. No matter how the lane goes, you're not expecting this hero to have an amazing early game. So I might want to...
I think you want to lane the Abba bot though. All you really need to do is secure the Dusa's farm. And if it gets to like 35 minutes and she's had a good game, then I don't see them being able to kill the Dusa. Because like this Stone Gaze, it makes Lifestealer's game really hard because he can't like attack the Dusa in the whole of the duration because the Stone Gaze pierces rage. It goes to BKB. So you just want to make sure your Dusa has a good start to the game. Start to move her towards mid, towards this ancient area of the map at like 8 to 10 minutes or whatever. And she can just slowly take over the game.
Hopefully they'll be able to achieve that.
Cheeky Doom.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing the right thing, right? Coming to just devour this range creep. If they wanted to get double greedy, Petro will just wait until the next wave comes forward and just arrow that range creep as well.
Yeah, I like to imagine that Petro is like, dude, let me arrow the range creep. And Erin's like, no, I'm going to devour it first. And they like race towards the range creep so she can get there first.
It would have been much funnier if he's like, oh, dude, go for it. You can arrow it. Then as the arrow's flying, then he devours the creep. And he's like, sorry, made us mine.
Super rude. I love it. That's something I'd do.
Alright, now we know. Don't play support when Mofara's in the game. Make sure that you put yourself on the other side of the map when that's happening. You see now in the mid lane, SF versus the DP. This is not a lane we see all that often, but generally when you do see it, SF tends to dominate the lane. Not dominate it, but just win it out.
Oh, this is interesting. I never thought about this as Mirana buff before. When you play Dire side, bot lane, there's like less distance to walk to the big camp now in comparison to what it used to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting.
I don't think it's gonna take a little bit of time before we really like internalize all the different changes that have taken place. Like I just managed to skim through today's changes, but I didn't get as deep into them as we should have. So we'll see what ends up happening as time goes on. Mid lane Monial fell a bit low, but he's okay. And top as
this SF. This SF is crushing. Like he's doing really well. because this lane, right, it should go really well for the DP at like level 1 and 2, and then as the levels go on, it gets much easier for the SF. But he's had a really good start already.
Yeah, already out denying, has more CS, gonna have a very good game here on the SF, and it is kind of required, right? I don't think Query really have the option or the luxury of any of these heroes having to play catch up. Like you mentioned, their lanes just have to go well, pretty much across the board. So if they're in this situation where from the jump they're already playing from behind, it's not going to look good for them. Monreal does have bottle now, well before DP will have additional regen in this lane, so he's going to be able to apply even more pressure here if need be.
That's okay. The DP just got her bottle as well. So it's like,
oh, did you get it?
I think it's just they got it at the same time. It's fine. But the problem for the DP is like when you get to level 3 on SF, if you ever land 3 raises on the DP, she's just like dead, right? Even 2 raises is super potent.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to look towards the movement of Petro down towards bottom to see if he ever makes any incursions towards the mid lane to try and set up for those triple raises. But now though, he's just going to be trying to play between himself and the Abaddon. Okay. Petro. Okay, that was kind of weird, but he survived, he's all good. I haven't taken a look in the top lane, and Ron Grata is doing very, very well so far. Level 3, has himself Orb Corrosion being queued up, out CSing the Lifestealer, and with this Grimstroke behind him, he knows that it's very unlikely that they're going to come actually try and approach a kill onto him.
Yeah, it feels horrible playing against this Lifestealer. When he gets his first hit on you with that Ghoul Frenzy, and you can't really run away anymore, but these first few levels is when the Mars needs to try and dominate the lane before the Lifestealer gets his levels coming through with like Feast and stuff and the ability to sustain in the lane. So I think, yeah, the lane will get easier for the Lifestealer, but Mars is definitely doing well for now.
What build does Lifestealer go in this game? Is this a just normal Armlet game, or is he going to try to switch this up for something else?
Yeah, I think you go Armlet into Halberd probably, or like Armlet AC Halberd or something. Because the Armlet item is just so good right now, you can't not buy it. So whenever you have it active, it just gives you 75 damage in comparison to not having the item. It's wild. On strength heroes at least.
Yeah. It kind of feels like these strength cores in this meta right now are going to be just very happy with the items that have been buffed up. All the strength carries are building Armlet, all the strength offlaners are building braces. Just a good time to be a strength hero.
It's like this game, for example, as well. Yeah, Doom just starts with a bracer. Why not, right?
Yeah.
But I'm so good right now.
Get yourself a bracer. He is falling a bit low, but not going to end up popping. Still does have some tangos to regen up, and of course, Scorched Earth is going to be there to help out as well. Very, very slow. I wouldn't say slow is the wrong word, but very considered and measured early game thus far. Spear of Mars will connect onto Tutuka in the top lane, but they definitely do not have the damage necessary to finish off this kill. They're chasing for it though. Stroke of Fate does connect onto Tutuka. He falls so low. Does get a salve though for his efforts. The coconut bounces back onto Non-Grab. This is actually huge. This might actually end up killing him, and indeed it will, but no! The bounty gets split, so no first blood. Goddamn, does at the very least end up bringing down the Warlock with the Stroke of Fate. That's actually, I think, what do you think? Because that's to share the bounty, it technically ends up being worthwhile for the Grimstroke, but it's still a decent gold.
I mean, that kill's really good for the Dire. Like, the fact that the Lifestealer doesn't die is huge. I feel like that dive was so unnecessary by the Mars. Like, you're doing really well in this lane. You don't need to make unnecessarily aggressive plays. Now that all of a sudden the Lifestealer's level 5, like, he's feeling really happy about his game.
Game is hard. Non-Grata from that, yeah. Now, out-leveled, we'll have to play a lot more considerately, and as you mentioned earlier, from the moment he dies, even a single time, suddenly things start to change in terms of how we can approach this lane. We will see middle now. Mirana will steal an Invis rune. Because she has the Invis, I wonder if she's going to try to set up for the Deucer, because Montreal is level 6. At the same time, Gachi is going to die in the mid lane. Sunlight gets his first kill. Doesn't have to rotate off map to make this happen. Pretty nice when the food comes to you, right?
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen more heroes come towards the mid lane in general for the catapult wave to try and make a play with Exorcism. But like in this game where you're playing against SF, it's so hard to just like shove the lane in because you just double raises and then the wave's like dead anyway, right?
Yeah.
It's tough. I don't understand what this morale is supposed to be achieving this game though. Obviously like Moonlight's really good and it's going to enable them to get these initiations off that we talked about. That are going to be so important, but it's like a really weird place for the hero, like so far.
Doesn't really feel like she's actually been able to accomplish that much on the map, right? Her movements have been okay. She's just been at bottom trying to interrupt some of this lane equilibrium, but yeah, there's no real easy setup for the arrows. She's not going to be able to find that much farm on the map to maybe get to Aghanim Scepter or something. So yeah, I don't know. Moonlight Shadow, it feels like definitely a very useful spell. But absent there being like a Phoenix or a very easy setup for the arrow, maybe it's just Petru feels very confident on the hero. Thus far, we haven't really been able to see its impact though, so let's give him some time. Let's be patient. Let's be nice.
I like that this Deuce is about to come through the jungle here, right? And be like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to farm all these jungle camps.
No
You're
big
looking
creeps.
at like, there's no big creep in that one. There's no big creep in the troll camp as well.
Oh no. Alright, that's the roll.
Pretty funny, actually.
That's actually what Mirana's doing. There we go. New meta. Make
so
sure that
smart.
the opposing core, when they go to jungle, there's no big camp. Or you always leave the small creeps, right? You don't destroy the whole thing.
That's a big D ward there as well by the Mirana, because now the Deucer can't feel massively safe in the top jungle. Sorry, in the bot jungle. So you see she's going to have to move over straight towards the mid lane now. Play between. Do you remember we said 8 to 10 minutes? This Deucer moves over to mid, like plays in the ancient camp as well. She's fine, but
Yeah, she's okay.
it's a little bit careful.
First ghost of the game committed in the top lane. We didn't get to see this in tandem with the Siege Dragon in the middle because, like you mentioned, Shadow Fiend is defending there. However, they put enough pressure out onto Tutuka to force him away entirely from top, so it'll be a very easy grab of a tier 1. Mid lane though, Arrow doesn't connect onto Zitrax, and they still want to find this kill, but now here comes the Mars. 1 Real, you've gone too far, buddy. Medusa is still very, very healthy, and with the help of this Mars, they are able to easily clean up 1 Real in the lane.
Foolish you looked.
That's a huge kill. The thing is, as well, I love that the Mars is like baiting out the spear the whole time. He's like, because the SF with haste runes like dancing around it, which perfectly waits. So you know, like when the a tiger or a lion or something is sitting in a bush somewhere waiting for their prey. Wait for the right time. At bot lane.
But we're just gonna see them pick off Goddamn behind the tier 1. He showed some patience from Non-Grata. Big kill there. Also helps them defend the tier 1 tower because the last thing you want is for SF to be able to get that kill while DP's on the other side of the map, putting extra pressure on the tower itself. But now they still have to play on their side of the map. And this Lifestealer, the greed for the Lifestealer thus far hasn't worked out. We haven't really seen this hero been able to get the farm he needs. He'll be able to get it eventually, and getting the tower will help. But they need to also make sure that they keep his 0 deaths at 0. I do not think they'll want to be catching up with Tutuka, given how good the start has been for the Zitrax Medusa.
He is starting very, very well. The Life Stealer is the one that I'm really worried about. I think like he's done okay, but his entry into the game is really difficult because you see this Deucer moved over towards mid ages ago, right? And nobody's really been playing bot this whole time, but they've only just managed to kill the tier 1 in comparison to when the DP managed to like just exorcism over top lane, find a kill before. It's really difficult for them to make the same moves on the map because they don't have that tower.
Oh, Marina middle, 1 Real, good again. He was triggering up the Requiem, but doesn't choose to let it go. And will actually get popped for this. Iru also rotated in on the Doom, but I think you're the one that's doomed here, buddy. They're trying to run him down. They won't be able to kill him because on the backside of the fight, Peru shows up to help kill the Abaddon. Spear, though, turned towards the Doom. Do they have the damage to bring him down? Inkswell not even going to be needed to stun him, but they stun the Mirana to prevent further follow-up from her. However, the paralyzing cost thrown in by Gachi with the Maledict will enable Petru to get the double kill. But that's 2 core heroes that went down. Tutuko though, with the Moonlight Shadow helping him out, also try to chase down Goddamn. What a soulbind! Are you kidding me? With the silence as well applied, Mirana is gonna get popped instantly. Gachi does end up getting brought down, but hashtag worth under those circumstances. It's a triple kill for the Mirana, but their team on the side of Dire end up losing 2 huge core heroes as SF dies again in the mid lane.
I didn't know that was a thing, that if you soulbound the Lifestealer when he infested a creep, like it carried on the soulbind through him. That's
Neither
really
did I.
interesting.
That was really cool to see, actually. They were like, oh, that's nice.
Dude, this Deucer Manta, by the way, I can't believe this got so buffed. In the, like, because you know the way they changed Manta to work with range heroes so that it has a 30-second cooldown now instead of 45?
Yeah.
I think this hero and Luna are the 2 that benefit the most. And Deucer feels really strong now.
It's actually funny that you
get
mentioned
the
that, because I was actually thinking that Deucer Luna, because of changes like that, definitely are rising in stock in this meta. Also, didn't they change the damage values on the illusions as well, so that the range illusions receive the same amount as the melee ones?
Yes. Yeah, it feels really good because what you used to do is when you play.
Nah, I don't know, keep talking. We've seen this movie before. This is going to be advertised.
That was a key play though. He popped the region just before he used himself to give himself a chance of living. That was cute. Yeah, so when you used to play Dusa, because it had such a long cooldown, sometimes you were a little bit afraid to use it to push lanes out and things like that. Because if you came to get ganked and you didn't have the Manta available, it was really sad. But now it's 30 seconds instead of 45. You can kind of be a little bit more, like, fearless in that sense.
The uptime is a lot better, so you're not playing with as much fear. And also because Stone Gaze, we generally tend to only put 1 point into it as the game scales. It also makes it a little bit easier to justify rushing the Manta style, so you don't have to get Stone Gaze early. You're gonna try fight now around the tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Exorcism Ghosts are on the go from Sunlight. Eru looking for a Doom target, but who to go for? Because you know if he reveals himself, he will die. Now, he has been seen, Soulbind, under 2 heroes, he's just forcing them back. Abandon, borrow time will trigger, and they do now run back as the ghosts are starting to expire. They decide to let this one go.
How do they start a fight though? It's so awkward. It's like we'll throw a cast in and everybody just runs like casually towards the mid tier 1. It's so weird.
Yeah, this draft's initiation and team fight is really going to be a problem for them. They're going to try and make something happen though with Doom. He's been infested up. They're trying to get now the wraparound. Tier 1 has been taken out though. Iru, can they get this? There will be a arena that only catches out onto Gachi. So Sunlight is still getting chased down, but they couldn't catch the DP. They will be able to turn onto non-Grata though with all the damage in the world. Iru on the high ground. He's also taking quite a bit of hurts towards himself. He will be able to survive for now. Zitrax activates the Stone Gaze to try and zone back everybody else. At the same time, Tatuka is able to at least take out the Grimstroke. There's going to be the Raccoon of Souls flying out. Sunlight falling very low. A couple of more right clicks is all Monreal needs to take this out. But on the other side of the fight, Doom being applied to the Medusa. Tatuka wants to be able to chase down this Medusa before he dies, but no! Abandoned with the Aphotic Shield. Mistquill keeping this Medusa alive. Doesn't manage to deny her, however, but manages to get the kill onto Tatuka. Do they get Iru? Doesn't seem like it. The Doom a little bit too tanky.
Oh, that was really unfortunate. The Medusa ticked out to the last tick of Maledict before he could get the shield off. It like just came off cooldown at the end, but couldn't quite save the Snake Lady, unfortunately.
Oh, so close.
I'm not really sure why the Radiant stuck around in the fight. Like, when you see all these dire heroes that come in, like, and there's 5, you know they have Moonlight and everything, right? And you don't have a sentry down that covers this, like, mid area completely. So they do this really good wraparound with a smoke and the Moonlight, and all of a sudden, yeah, they're in trouble on the Radiant side because they don't have that exorcism at the, like they did the first time the fight went off.
For me, the weird decision. Did you see what they did with the Mars? Like after Mars popped the arena, I feel like that arena was good enough that they could have just ran all back, but they decided to wrap back into the fight as well with Sunlight, who positioned himself really strangely. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, that there was no reason for Radiant side to actually try to take that engagement. So Tuka might die in the top lane, get silenced up. There's going to be the arena, they catch him out, and there should be enough for them to find this kill. To Tuka though, big plays because of the creep nearby. He will just go to take it. They still have enough slows to make sure that this gets brought down. Tuka will die. Nice attempt there, he was acting cute. Maybe next time keep the creep away. Make sure the Centaur is not nearby, but still, good kill picked up there by Burning Fire.
What a great ward though as well. You can see the dire side, they ping out the high ground because they're like, oh, they must have a ward there. They saw a Lifestealer farming, but it's actually like just above the camp. This one's really difficult to find, especially at this point in the game. Like with the reduced vision that Sentry gives now, it went down from 1,000 to 900. Like you can't just place it in the middle now and expect to see everything.
Yeah, you have to be very deliberate with where you place these. Speaking of vision, it's gonna catch out Gachi, and they will find an arrow onto him with the full combo. Maledict was out. Death Ward did get interrupted by the Phantom's Embrace, but there's no way that this goddamn Grimstroke will end up living, and they'll de-ward their own high ground now. So this bottom area is definitely a no-go zone for Burning Fire.
Yeah, and that's a dieback on the Grim as well, so he's dead for 50 seconds.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, 50 seconds, wow. Level 10 dead that long. Game is hard, especially when they need him to be picking up this Aghanim shot in this game at some point. Although they do end up losing Shadow Fiend. What? Oh wait, oh, non-Grata. Okay, never mind. Sorry, for a second there I thought it was surprising, but it does seem to be the case that if non-Grata's around the same part of the map as the Shadow Fiend, before Shadow Fiend is BKB, Shadow Fiend is there, so
lane.
whatever. Mid lane though. His chase Tutuka was very low. Doesn't have the infest, so he's actually gonna die to these ghosts. Now Arena, yet again, they catch out onto Iru. They will be able to easily bring down this Doombringer. They don't have vision for Gachi, so he'll be able to TP out to safety. That's
again. I'm really shocked because you see your SF die top lane, and they all disappear from top, and everyone's still just hanging around mid on the Dire. You gotta be waking up, guys. Like, your Doom's 200 gold off, 300 gold off BKB. Like, your lifesteal is really close to Sanj. I think you need to just wait for the BKB timing on your SF and your Doom before you can really fight her. And yes, the Deuce is going to farm it in the meantime, and it's really annoying and it's sad. You can't get the mid tier 1, but you have to play around your own timing.
But Mo, the heroes felt squishy. We thought we could kill them. We wanted to go in.
They can kill them, they just can't keep them still on the dark side. That's the problem.
Oh man. It's becoming more and more apparent that this issue of initiation is... Yeah, they need to figure out as many ways as possible to deal with this. This Blink Dagger from Iroh is going to be crucial at that point. But even then, there's no guarantee that they get always the critical heroes required for the fight to be successful for themselves. I don't know, it just feels like... the way they're thinking about this draft. Imagine if you had Mars instead on the Dire side. How much different your draft would be. Your initiation potential would be so much smoother. We've seen that non-Grata, a lot of pressure is applied to him, yeah, sure, but he, for the most part, has been cashing it out. He's been catching out these core heroes time after time after time. Most of his kill involvements feels like have been coming on the SF and the Lifestealer rather than just these supports, so they need a way to do that. Speaking of, Yul Scepter, okay, they're not going to try and go for a follow-up though, just to zone him back there.
Again, I'm still really worried for Dire side now that the Stusa, when she gets Scardy, like, Lifestealer gets kited around really easily, the reduced healing, like, SF gets 50% healing. I don't know, the game seems to be getting under control really quickly. I don't think the Dire, it's like fully kicked in for them yet. Because this Abaddon's just going to sit behind the... Yeah, they're going Roche now as well.
Yep.
And then this Dusa, if she's able to pick up Aegis at any points in the game, feels absolutely ridiculous. Because you can't kill her, like, once, never mind twice, right? And, like, they're all starting to TP in now, but it's just too late. You have to do BKB that you're not able to use.
Just do not have the ability to do that. No, they go back. Why would you do this? Non-Grata, can he get off the ultimate? The Doom will be there onto Non-Grata for once. They prevent the Mars from initiating the fight. They kill him very quickly. Zitrax, though, they've now isolated Tutuka on the high ground. He will try and get back to where his team is. Soulbind will lay out onto him. But it's just between him and the Witch Doctor. They will now start running back because the Stone Gaze is down and they do not have access to Arena without Mars. No Exorcism. Yul's catching out onto the Abaddon. Can they burst Insomnia down? Does have the borrow time, triggers it out to keep this fight going. Zitrax trying to run forward with this Inkswell, who gets Yul's up into the air, however, so can't keep the chase going. Tutuka with the Spirit Siphon on top of him, he's trying to finish off the fray. They manage on the far side of the fight with Monreal to get down this Abaddon, but now Iru might have also been a bit too far forward. Gachi, beautiful paralyzing cards with the Witch Doctor ultimate. They've almost burst down Sunlight, they'll eventually be able to make it happen. And now the dream is real because they've isolated the Medusa. Inkswell will be thrown out onto her from Goddamn, but Tutuka will just pop Rage and turn his attention back onto Goddamn. Now Zitrax completely isolated, but here comes Non-Grata back. Look how tanky this Medusa is. She's still alive with the arena of blood coming through. Non-Grata will secure a double kill by bringing down Tutuka and Iru and complete the trifecta by getting Monreal as well. All the core heroes die. Non-Grata gets his revenge as he comes back from the grave.
I thought that was really bad for Radiant. I couldn't believe they chased up to the high ground, not having Exo and stuff. And then the Mars dies straight away. It felt exactly the same as the mid-fight before, but they managed to delay the fight for so long that the Mars dies, respawns again, comes back to the fight and has Arena ready. Like, they just chased them for so long and kite them back onto their own half of the map. Yeah, and now this Dusa still has Aegis. She didn't even die once. And it's like, oh dear. Our Lifestealer's like 3,000 net worth behind, well, almost 4,000 net worth behind the Dusa. He doesn't even have his second item finished yet. Dusa's about to finish a Scardy.
Yep. Oof.
The SF did the right thing though by chasing the Abaddon at the start of the fight. I think you have to get rid of that. And Barana's in trouble.
Oh, wait. No more lead dash. I definitely agree. Monreal realizes that if you take out this Abaddon, then you prevent the addition of these Aphotic Shields, no more Miscoils, no more extra heals. They lose Gachi on the other side of the map as well. So he does the right thing with his positioning, and afterwards, the rest of the team I have to really compliment how they decided to take that, because when they see the Inkswell coming back, they don't say, okay, let's just focus Medusa, ignore Grimstroke. They focus Grim, so everything in their power is done. They say, okay, now Medusa is alone, she has no allies, we're surrounding her with all our right-clicking heroes, we've got level 4 presence, let's go! But like you mentioned, Non-Grata comes back, perfect time, he didn't even have Blink Dagger, literally just walked up with that arena.
Yeah. I mean, the problem is with the live side, like the SF can do damage with Requiem and everything, just trying to keep the DP.
They're actually trying to use their Requiem to burst this DP here. They trigger out all the spells. Sunlight is still alive, however. Aquatic Shield from Insomnia keeping alive, and yet again, Non-Grata with another arena to just force them back. Monreal, under the cover of Moonlight Shadow, they will try to run away. Gachi throws in the Maledict with the Witch Doctor Ward. Doesn't kill Non-Grata just yet, and now with Moonlight Shadow being gone, there's no more BKB as well for Monreal. Monreal's in a lot of trouble. They will have enough damage to bring down this SF, and he will pop. Iru will try and get some revenge onto Non-Grata. He will eventually be able to do so, but most likely going to cost his own life here as well. Zitrax here with Insomnia. Gonna see how much damage he can do. Illusions pop. Tutuka trying to run away. DP has returned. She's got the Yule Scepter going. Will she be able to find the target? Beautiful Glimmer Cape. She does find this Life Stealer. Doom flown out onto the DP. She can't cast the Spirit Ciphers, but she still already has the Ghost going. So I'm not sure this is the best fight for them to be taking. On the other side, Gachi's already gone down. Dusa, is she going to be able to get some revenge for the DP who has fallen? So has the Abaddon. Zitrax is now finally isolated, but this is a Dusa that still has the Aegis. Can they keep her locked down? Can they kill her? What can they do here? The first life is still looking good. She's at half mana now. Still has 21 charges to pop if need be. How on earth will they be able to do this? They're kiting. They're doing everything they can. Here comes the Grimstroke back again. The Stroke of Fate will help them to bring down Iru. Tutuka wants to turn his attention back onto the Grim. Will not be able to chase him onto the high ground with a single usage of Rage. So we'll try to flee here. Inkswell doesn't trigger onto a creep. They still have Arrow again. There's going to be yet another Yules. Medusa inside the arena with the Mars. Non-Grata, do they have the damage to kill Tutuka? Rage back online in 1 second, but it's too late. They finally get the damage out, and eventually they kill the Medusa. But this took like 2 whole minutes as the rest of the team of Burning Fire are just filtering back into the fight. Zitrax eventually pops the Aegis, but back up to 4 suddenly here, Mo, as they take the tier 1 tower, take the fight. And I honestly lost count as to how many heroes they killed in that engagement.
She lost the Aegis. It was about to expire in like 10 seconds anyway, so it didn't even matter. Like, it was so sad. I love that these fights go on for so long that people can just die, respawn, come back in and use their spells again. Because the Dusa can last like just absolutely forever. Oh, they did kill the DP mid though.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool. I guess they got the Yule's arrow.
I mean, this Dusa, she doesn't even have a damage item yet, right? And she's just living. So she's living rages, but she can't really kill people. It's the problem at the moment. She's going to get this item now, where she can actually kill people. She's got the Chrysalis coming out in the Courier.
Go for the Shadow Fiend. Monreal going to get caught out here. He is most certainly dead. BKB, yeah. Oh, wait. Let's see. They do have a blink on Non-Grata in 2 seconds. If he finds the right angle, they could keep this chase going. Monreal, it's pretty speedy, so we will be able to get away. Thank God I bought Yule Scepter this game.
Yeah, Yule's spots on that hero is pretty mental. He has Faded Brooch as well. Just 470 movement speed.
It's a casual 470 there, you know. Would have been funny if it was 420, but we take what we can get.
It's the Sonic version of Dota. It's fine.
So is this what they mean by Turbo Dota? Monreal is showing us. So what do they do here, Mo? Given the way this game is going and how difficult it is to deal with this Dusa. Tutuka obviously is trying to get some damage items. Went for the Armlet Halberd that we spoke about earlier, going for MKB next. But it doesn't feel like this is going to be enough, because by the time this is up, Dusa will have a damage item. So you can't actually spend as much time just hitting her for free anymore.
I mean, Dusa's 7,000 net worth ahead of the Lifestealer, right? I mean, I was going to say before, they can kill people with like Requiem and things, but because the Lifestealer was so underfarmed, they don't have any like constant right-click damage coming out throughout the fight. So this is why the Dusa is so hard to kill. Like, even when it's 3-on-1. Where are they?
She is... feels bad.
Fear?
Okay.
Oh,
is she going to be able to TP? She's not. No, she's not.
Oops.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, yeah. The leap, like, it just got bounced back in the opposite direction because of the shot on DP. That was... Okay. We've learned a lot today about Dota 2 mechanics, haven't we, Mo?
seen this shard be used before. I haven't really cast any DP games yet. So that was nice to see.
Speaking of shards, we're only gonna now see goddamn moving in towards the Brimstone shard. And it got nerfed a little bit, not as insanely busted as it was, but still extremely strong. However, they have bigger worries right now on the side of Quiddy, as they will now have to deal with this tier 1 tower, or first lane of Rax, excuse me, under threat potentially in the top lane, as the tier 3 will fall soon, already down to half HP. I really doubt anybody will be able to come back in time to defend this.
Yeah, I really don't think they're going to be able to. This lifesteal is like half HP at the moment. If he goes back, he needs to kind of heal up a little bit as well. He doesn't even... If he had his NKB, he'd be so much more of a threat. But at the moment, he has 2 items and 3,000 dead gold. Because it's not into a completed item, right? And like, the Dusa has no dead gold on our hero right now. She has Treads, Manta, Skadi, Daedalus. Like, it's all effective net worth. So even though the difference between them 7,000 at the moment, it's technically 10,000. Because the lifestealer doesn't have, like, his gold into items.
And I think you're at that really awkward phase of the lifestealer play right now, where you're trying to decide, should I half in for the next item or should I save for buyback? Knowing full well that if you die and buyback without having the next damage item, you might not be able to do anything regardless in the fight. So really rough spot to be right now for Tutuka. I imagine Monreal definitely just wants to have buyback. He's gonna have to just make do with the Blink Dagger, Yule's BKB for now. Whether or not he'll get the Blink in time, he definitely won't have it in time to save the tier 3, but there is potential for them to try and maybe mount the defense for the Rax. Although, I'll be honest, Mo, I'm uncertain as to whether or not that's even a good idea.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Jump in though. They're gonna go for it. They were looking for this DP. They haven't found the Doom just yet though. Stone Gaze popped by Zitrax. They're gonna be freezing up everybody, and they managed to get the kill onto both of these cores. Tutuka also came in to try help out, but he ends up just getting instantly Stone Gazed as well. Now forced back into the fountain, as the ghost will retreat back into sunlight, but with both these cores gone. Oh, there's no wave though. Yeah, the Petro Mirana, when he died, sure he does end up losing his life there top, but he did take out a pretty large creep wave when he did go down, so maybe it ends up being hashtag worth here, Mo. We were giving him smack, but he knew.
They're actually just gonna sit here and hit this melee Rax until the wave comes in. What's happening here?
I mean, to be fair, can they stop them?
Mid lane.
Go for this DP. I mean, she's pretty far away from the rest of the team, so they're going to be able to punish her pretty heavy here. Gachi nearby with the dead ward. BKB might not be able to protect Sunlight, although the Spirit Siphon is going to be there. Glimmer Cape will be up. The rest of the team will roll back from Burning Fire, and they also find the Arena of Blood onto the Smarana. She is carrying her passenger though, because Tutuka's inside her. Doesn't have range anymore. He just got silenced up. Will he be able to get himself to safety? Will the X1 start before the range comes out? Yes, it will. So they will be able to launch the Gauze Rebuke, which will be enough to put the Lifestealer into the grave. Sunlight with the double kill. He was debating middle, and they took it. They fell for it.
But you have to be a little bit careful here, because if they take a bad fight, the Dire, it means they don't get rushed, and Dire could go and take it for themselves afterwards. And they're going to feel really confident they should get 2 sets of rats. Okay, they're going to go for the end. Fair enough.
Let's see. I feel like
I'm not sure about this.
Jump in. They want to try and look for this, and they still have the Doom available. So by catching both core heroes. Look at the damage they're dishing out. Zitrax is just going ham in this fight, killing absolutely everybody in between the ghosts. The Doom was out onto the DP, but it doesn't really matter. Tutuka also unable to participate in the engagement, and they will just call it. GG, well played, is thrown in. Burning Fire will manage to secure themselves game number 1 here, Mo.
Yeah, disappointing end. I mean, they'll definitely hit stuns. I'll tell you that much on the Dire side. I mean, it felt like it was really sad to play as well, because they had so many different ways to get into the fight by like. All the heroes wanted to get into the fight to use their spells is what I mean, right? Like the Doom wants to be able to come in, Lifesteal wants to be able to come in and 3D hit people. They want to be able to get the Requiem off, but they have no way of like stopping all this counter initiation that can come through, right? Like in that last fight, they tried to get this Stomp Requiem off, but DP gets their Yules off, and SF's like, okay, I wait for the Yules to come down so I can get my Requiem off. Gets hit by Stone Gaze, so it gets cancelled, and then it's like, oh, I'm dead.
I am dead. I'm dead. Suddenly, I'm dead.
I just don't.
Boy.
They're like their whole way of approaching fights is so weird on the Dire side. They can't find these clean kills on the map. And so it turns into them taking these really awkward fights. And when they do go well, because the Radiant overextend slightly and they punish them really well on the Dire side, they can't kill this Dusa. They carry on trying to fight for 50 seconds, 60 seconds, and then the Radiant come back alive again and just wipe them. Like every single time. It was so weird.
Yeah. And it was reliably that they kept coming back in that way, right? Just, we return, y'all are gone. There's pretty much nothing you can do about this. Yeah, that one felt really weird. I think another thing for them that they need to probably be thinking about when they go into the second game is, yo, I don't think I've ever seen a game where a team has had that much difficulty having any fights that start on their own terms. It just really felt like, unless the entire engagement, unless they just ran into them and made mistakes from the side of Burning Fire, it just really felt like it was them being like, well, this fight's easy for us. Like, we don't really have to worry. Provided that doesn't have to happen, we're cool. Every other time, we're just going to come in. We've got the arena. We'll throw it down. And it just felt like Doom, once you got the Blink Dagger, that sort of helped. But even then, felt like it was too late, right? Because he jump in, find himself instantly disabled, and then just die. It felt really bad.
The other thing is they get the Blink, but it's after Vanguard BKB. So, like, what minute was the Blink? It was minute 24 is your initiation tool. You can't initiate a fight unless it's like just Moonlight Shadow walking in until minute 24. That feels really rough.
And even when you do get that initiation, it just really feels like very rarely were they all there together in tandem to actually dish out damage. So he'd go in, find a hero, maybe Shadow Fiend follows up, but Shadow Fiend would never follow up with Requiem. He'd follow up, try to get Requiem off, but realize, something else has to happen. I have to back, get off the BKB or whatever. I don't know, just the pieces didn't click. None of it came together, and they end up with the L here. So Mo, if you're the coach right now for Quirdy, what are you telling them going into game 2?
Dance. Just Lion first pick. That's the play.
Okay, before we go on break, please explain to me why teams don't first pick Lion or first phase Lion every game. I don't understand, personally. Like, why don't you just get that hero? Get Blink, then have a game of Dota 2.
Yeah, I think Lion's in a really good place, but it's not like the strongest laner, right? Like, it's not... If he gets on top of it, just die. So it's very, like, high risk, high reward, because if you can get your spells off, you feel really good, but if you get God on, it feels horrible.
That is
I know
true.
that's down to positioning and everything, but for example, like you have this Mirana first pick. I think you have to build around it so that the Moonlight Shadow is effective, so that you have ways of initiating fights and stuff, which is great. But why not just first pick Lion instead of Mirana? If you're not going to pick any heroes that work well with this Moonlight, like even like Magnus or something, for example, right? Or like Tide or these big AoE spells that you can use effectively. Just pick a hero that it's like easier across the board and more effective most of the time.
Yep, absolutely. So, with game 1 in the books, QWERTY are, for them, yet again, the game does not matter, but for Burning Fire, they will be ecstatic that they managed to grab themselves a W here, as this will enable them to continue along the hope of getting into the playoffs. One more game for them to put this series to bed, but they cannot afford any losses today. So let's see what they'll be able to do here in game number 2. So this was QWERTY versus Burning Fire for the Positive Fire Games. I'm Snare, joined by Mo Farah. This is Snare Casting. Make sure that you're following the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe as well to help with the flourishing and the growth of the channel. And of course, go over to where Mo Farah's Twitter is. Go over to his Twitch. Wait, do you have a Twitch, Mo? I actually do not know.
Yeah, I don't ever use it though. So.
All right, go follow his inactive Twitch, but go follow his active Dota primarily for now. And we'll be back very shortly with some more Dota 2 action.
us so far, broken down hard, like strung out old stars, playing talking, served us so well. We traveled through hell, know how we felt.
Ladies, gentlemen, and my NB comrades, welcome back here to Snarcasting, where we are going to be continuing with the Positive Fire Games tournament. Game number 2 between Burning Fire and QWERTY to see whether or not Burning Fire can actually make it into the playoffs. Right now, today in Group D, it's all about them. If they win all their games, they are through. If not, unfortunately, V Gaming will be taking up that slot. So let's see if they can make it happen. I'm your boy Snare, joined by Mo Farah. Mo, QWERTY got dominated in Game 1. Do you think they can do it in Game 2? Is Phoenix Mars, is this the winning opener here?
Yeah, Phoenix Mars is really good, right? Like, this has been a favorite in especially China since the dawn of Phoenix Mars. It's been picked ever since. And like, even at the major most recently, teams were still picking this combo whenever they could get it. And it was funny to me because it felt like the other regions didn't respect it at first, and they kept letting this Phoenix through, and China kept picking it. And everyone was like, oh, we should probably start banning this Phoenix, even though it's been like a widely known thing for me. Like, at least if you like look through their Dota buffs or watch their games, how powerful this hero can be. The interesting thing for me is when this Mars got picked by either team, the response both times by the other team was to pick their core that can deal with the Mars. And I think this Jug pick's absolutely fine, especially against Phoenix Mars. But like, you were calling for the Snapfire, right? Which is really interesting. Or like, there's different ways you can deal with Phoenix. You either have a hero that kills the egg, or you find a way of killing the Phoenix before he uses egg. Right? They're the two like different things. And they decided to go with the way of being able to kill the egg and having the core hero that's good in lane against this team.
Yeah, you do need to definitely have to have some way of dealing, in particular with the laning phase, because I kind of think that this combo, you just have to sort of, if you're not going to deal directly with the egg, you just have to swallow that the lane's going to go poorly, but the Jug gives you the best of both worlds. And like you were mentioning, this combo, I think the reason why for you it was just a no-brainer that this combination should just never be in the game. You spend too much time watching Chinese Dota, and once you do that, you're like, yeah, you should never be allowed to have these two heroes unless there's a direct counter. Jug will help quite a bit. It also does mean that at the very least they have a hero that's a little bit easier. Even if you can't get yourself into a position where you can destroy the egg, you can escape with it a little bit faster. I do like this Tusk though also, because I do think that Tusk I kind of feel like this hero has been a little bit underpicked as the patch has been going on, in lieu of some other different heroes. In this game, you have quite a lot of strong spells, right? Tag team with Juggernaut has always been traditionally quite good. We don't know what other heroes are going to be coming out for them. And also, in the previous game, I would have actually liked to see more movement towards mid, and Tusk definitely is a hero that gives you that.
Yeah, I think Tusk's still in a really good place. Like that hero was picked quite a lot. The major, it's kind of given way to this Aber a little bit more recently, in like the favorite position 5 role stuff. But it still has its own merits. It can flex between 4 and 5. It's really strong. I like that in the second phase, QWERTY ban out these jug enablers in the Invoker and the Mag, like with Empower and Alacrity. Feels really good. And I think this Storm hero, like we said, there's 2 ways of dealing with Phoenix. You either kill him before he gets egg off, or you kill the egg. And with Storm, they would have been able to do both, because you can just jump the backline straight away.
Actually, now that you mention that, wouldn't they go Void Spirit now potentially? Because if you get your early Ags on Void Spirit, then you can sort of do both, prevent Ags, prevent the Supernova from coming out, take the fights in other quarters, and then turn your attention back there. Although now that they have picked Lina, not sure I would want to be laning Void Spirit into that. Doesn't seem like a good time for me. But they don't have that lockdown for any kind of Spirit hero. They have it with Overgrowth, they've got the Mars Arena and LSA, but not quick, easy ways to catch any of these heroes. And now Burning Fire will take advantage of that by picking up this Timbersaw. The only major burst they have comes from this Lina, but the rest of the fight, and there's 2 big beefy heroes in the Mars and the Train Protector. Like, they have tons of team fight with QWERTY being able to set up for with Overgrowth, Supernova, Arena, all these things. But Timbersaw is going to be very, very pesky in this game, it feels like.
Alright, Snap. When they opened the second phase with this tree, this Timber was all I could think about. Because all of a sudden they're against 3 strength heroes without a huge amount of catch. And what it enables, when you pick this Tusk early on in your draft, what it enables you to do is look towards aggressive tri-lanes potentially. So I was looking for Burning Fire to pick up a hero that would enable them to aggro tri if they wanted to, and then put the Timber in a 1v1 against the Mars. Now all of a sudden, they have Tusk Jug CM as a potential aggressive tri-lane. This Timber can 1v1 a Mars, or, you know, they could just let the Timber dual lane with the Tusk for a while, and then the Tusk moves towards the safe lane, and they have a tri-lane there. Like, there's so many different things they could do with these heroes now. All they need to do is pick this hero that doesn't lose mid too hard to the Lina. Maybe some like TA or something could be really interesting. And then like they get this really quick Roche, and they just snowball the game forward. Because their lanes look ridiculous at the moment.
Their lanes are obscene. There's like no pressure that can be applied to this Timbersaw really. Like you mentioned, the potential for this big aggressive tri-lane. You also have kill threat no matter who partners up with the Juggernaut. You have some medium kill threat no matter who partners with the Timber. But yeah, these lanes seem insane. Seems insane. And as long as and it's not like the Juggernaut and Timbersaw only are powerful in the earlier portions of the game, right? These are heroes that can scale for a pretty long time, especially against what QWERTY has to offer right now. So just make sure that, like you said, whatever mid hero you pick up here doesn't lose you the game instantly, and then you'll probably be in decent spirits. What are you feeling here for themselves? Maybe Queen of Pain? What do you think about that? To get to the very far side of the fight, give them more magical burst, and also a natural Orchid builder. I think Orchid could be really strong in this game for them on the side of Orchid.
I wouldn't mind that too much. It's okay. They just need some hero that like doesn't get crushed in this 1v1, honestly. Like, it just shoves out the waves, does fine. Even some like SF I think wouldn't be awful. Okay, they go for the Void Spirit.
Yeah,
On QWERTY...
What do you pick now for QWERTY? Void Spirit mid. So what do you need now? You still need a safe laner, right, for themselves. Who's gonna win you the game overall?
I think this Weaver pick would have been really good. Obviously it got banned, but some relatively self-sufficient laner that can like do okay early on, because it will lose the tri lane otherwise, right? Like maybe some troll, I don't know. But, oh my god. Okay. I think you just aggro and you just run at them.
Now you definitely run at them, yeah. Because what are they gonna do? There's literally nothing they can do about that. If you do aggro into them, they can't really swap lanes and decide, well, we're just gonna go bottom. Well, who cares? Timbersaw's there, can just roll around the map. Yeah, I don't like this IO pick, if I'm honest. I don't think it's like what they needed in order to give them the W here. Despite how crazy it was previous patch.
Yeah. I will say though as well that this Tree IO is a really strong dual lane if it ends up being like Timber Tusk against Tree IO. Because the overcharge with how hard the tree punches is awful to play against. Feels awful. But then if you're playing against Tim, who's probably going to take Whirling Death at level 1, and you have tag team as well, is it enough to be able to out-damage a Tusk and a Timber? I really don't know.
It will very much depend. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Also, I think it depends on how they decide to lane this themselves on the side of Quiddy. But I think it should be obvious that it's IO tree top, right? I can't imagine if they want to put the Phoenix there. You definitely want Gachi in present.
Petru played the Mirana last game as well. I'm assuming they play Mars Phoenix.
Well,
I can see them thinking it's going to be dual lanes, and then they just get aggroed, and they're like, oh. Because they have Tree Phoenix support dual. That feels awful with Wisp Core. Because then what happens is, all those heroes need XP, and they're shoved in a tri-lane together. And it's like, oh, okay. Where are our levels now on these heroes that need them?
And obviously, the same problem isn't necessarily true for the side of Boofy, because if you have, like, Crystal Maiden, Tusk don't necessarily mind being a bit, like, off pace of the overall experience, as long as Jug is still being able to get farm in this game. It's not like their level 6s are as game-changing as Petru and on this Gachi Tree and Protector, so definitely do agree with you that if they do run aggro. Now I'm really hoping for this. Yo, Mo, this better happen. You need to be sending these DMs. Let them know right now that, hey guys, if you don't run this aggro tri lane, we're gonna flame you the entire cast. There's no other option.
Like, it's not even that. It really frustrates me that teams haven't explored it as an opportunity still. Because we saw it at the major from like EG and Secret and stuff like how good these aggro tri lanes could be to allow you to have these favourable 1v1s.
Yeah.
I mean, the mid lane's a little bit different this time because the voice bit doesn't do amazing versus Lina. So maybe they're a little bit worried to aggro because if you get put in this aggro, you kind of have to stay there. You can't really rotate mid. You're stuck in this like 3v3 a lot of the time.
I mean, I do think though that a lot of these games where Void Spirit does come afield, he is super necessary for them to be able to increase the tempo of the game. But I think if they do what you're mentioning with the aggro, they can get far enough ahead with farm that they can catch up later with the Void Spirit. It's not like they're the ones playing with the timer in this game. They can go late. They're happy. They're okay with this.
Oh.
So now
they're gonna get 3 runes as well because they have better level 1.
That's nice. Nice.
Very cool of you.
Nankarata picks this up in the off lane, and yep, he is gonna be dual laning with Goddamn on the Tusk. So we'll see what Goddamn decides to do a little bit later. But now that you've put this earworm in me, you have to see it. Come on. Don't try to all chat and say, guys, come on, aggro try is good.
Guys, yeah. Come on, really? I don't know. This Wisp hero, it got picked in AS Monaco Gambit versus VP in every one of the games. It got picked by Gambit, and they lost 2-1, but it still looks okay. I mean, the problem is the hero doesn't hit its timings like quite as quickly as it did before because it farms a little bit slower, but it's still a really potent hero. And so I'd be interested to see how it does this game. Look at this bot lane.
Yeah, this is gonna suck. Here we go. Nature's Wrath gonna slow you up so they can just come in with these big choppy hits. Top lane, they do manage to find the Phoenix brought down. I imagine they did the old school combo of Frostbite into spin or Crystal Nova spin. Doesn't Phoenix have Icarus dive? Oh, he has Fire Spirits, okay.
Not at level 1. This is, and they've recognized that he's not going to have dive at level 1, so they just go for him like straight away.
Yeah.
And there's no play that the Phoenix can make that keeps him alive there, unfortunately. And now what happens is the CM's going to go back. Hopefully she gets Frostbite at level 2, and they can just do it to the Mars next time.
Yeah, Ares is definitely not going to have as easy a performance on the Mars as Non-Grata was able to have. Like this lane versus Jug, not as easy as the one versus Lifestealer. Because of that, the constant actual kill threat. So, of course, I do think eventually, like, whenever I see these Timber Swords in the offlane, eventually you do want to leave this hero alone, even if he is in a position where he's not doing the best. So once that starts to happen, we'll see if Goddamn makes his way top. Like, going middle onto this Lina will be effective from time to time, but I think they can really shut down what they're trying to do on the side of QWERTY if they can reliably kill the Smalls at least twice in this game, like pre-15 minutes.
Have you seen this mid lane, by the way? They both swapped sides, and the Lina was on the Dire high ground, and Sunlight was on the Radiant high ground. Fantastic.
Oh, Dota 2, gotta love it. You gotta love it. He's not gonna enjoy this lane though, Sunlight. This sucks. This lane is never
Oh, no, not at all. It feels really bad. But this is what I was saying with the last pick, like, I didn't think it was necessarily going to be the Void Strip, because he doesn't do that great in the 1v1. But as the game goes on, the hero is still really strong.
Yeah, and I imagine that this game they want to also be able to have some kind of reliable pickup on the Wisp. They don't have that much disable either, or that many ways of closing the gap. Top lane, we do have some more damage coming out onto the Phoenix. Petru does have dive this time around. No enemy heroes in tow to be able to stop this.
He does have to be careful though, because he doesn't have dive for 30 seconds now.
Yeah.
So it has to be like a little bit careful about how aggressive he plays. Like here, for example, if the Jug comes over with spin, they do have good kill potential when dives start.
And he's dead. No! Yeah, he's dead. There we go. They find the spin. They got the frostbite out. Crystal Nova. I don't think lashed out just yet, but they'll need one more right click. They should be able to find this. Eru tried to zone back the tracks with the God's Rebuke, but as you mentioned, the care necessary to keep the Phoenix alive was not applied, so the Big Bird will end up getting slashed down by the Juggernaut.
It's not awful though, because the lane is shoving in towards the Mars like all the time here, because CM hasn't been able to get a pull off.
Yeah.
And she's going to try and do it now.
Gonna be a lot of experience for Iru. Doesn't get that like any kills for himself, but look how he's doing fairly well with the CS. Farming on the tower, not the best as a Mars, but I don't think he'll be missing out on that many CS for yourself. So Iru, yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I'm sure he might actually be telling Phoenix, yo dude, go dive again, get yourself killed, prevent them. You see, he's doing it again. He's like, yo dude.
I don't.
Okay, that one was on purpose though. I don't think that was on
I
purpose.
don't really get what this Phoenix is doing. Losing like 600 HP for no reason, right? Oh my god, mid
Mid
lane.
lane though. We finally
even
got a
see.
rotation. God damn. He came in to try help out the Void Spirit to get a kill onto this Lina. Lina actually gets the kill first. They do eventually lose Monreal, but how did they get the Void Spirit first on this side?
Yeah, I didn't realize Tusk was a range hero. Sorry, I was really confused there. Yeah, for that last set on the Lina. That was interesting.
Oh man. So Tusk not really being present down bottom. Non-Grata goes forward, Whirling Death. And there's a lot of damage going out onto this Timbersaw right now. He needs to be a little bit careful. The Whispered Walls are being triggered out right now. Will he die here? Level 1 explosions did get nerfed, so it's not going to be enough to kill Non-Grata as he gets himself back onto the other side of the river.
This is where you're wrong, Snake. Level 1 collisions did not get nerfed. It's only on the creeps that it got nerfed.
Ah, okay.
The hero damage is still the same.
Hero damage still the same. Ah, okay, then that's fine. Then that's fine. Top lane. They might get Petru killed again. They freeze him on the other side of the dive. He's gonna be able to TP away to save. He's fine. He's fine. But now he's not available top.
Oh, mid lane again.
Alright, this time around they do get it on the side of Burning Fire Sunlight. With the help of Goddamn, they get the kill onto Monreal. It's Sunlight that gets it. But you were saying you love?
Yeah, I love that the CM just went for a right click on the Phoenix for absolutely no reason there before the Phoenix TP'd away. Like a get out of my lane kind of thing. That was awesome.
Listen, sometimes in Dota 2 you have to apply dominance.
That kill mid lane was really important though, because the Lina was about like halfway to level 6, and Sunlight hadn't even hit level 5 at that point. So if they don't get that kill there, Lina would have hit level 6 way before the Void Spirit, and then just completely crushed the lane and always had kill for it. So massive, massive, massive return there.
Pretty big here. We do see there is now movement coming back middle from this Lina Monreal. What are we building this game for this Lina? I imagine we definitely want Dual Scepter. We're gonna have Duels, I think, from both of the mid laners. Don't think we'll see any. I don't think we'll see any strange item builds. The only thing that up in the air is whether or not Zitrax is just gonna go for a pure fighting build on this Jug, which I think he should. Like, do you think he needs a farming build this game?
Yeah, I mean he could do. I think the battle tree is really good on this hero still at the moment. I don't think he needs to fight because he is their late game insurance almost, right? Like if the game goes on, if the Jug's not farmed, they're probably not going to do that well. So if he wants to go like some Manta build, he can, and I don't think it would be awful. This Mars is insane.
Yeah, he's gonna get himself killed here.
That's
That was not worth it.
it.
Yeah, not at all. I was just watching him and being like, mate. Okay.
I mean, they get the kill, which is great, but I mean, I guess he didn't have great HP and mana. He had no regen, so like getting the kill and then getting this free TP to come back to lane isn't awful. But now the Jug just gets like all this free XP, and now he's close to level 6.
Yep. Once he hits that 6, it becomes a lot more difficult for you to actually come back into this lane. The next time you get run on with some of these spells, you can actually die. You see bottom, Mangrata deciding to dive onto Tutuka. He wants to get the kill onto this Io. Level 3 reactive armor, so he's not bothered by this tower damage. Tutuka will not have tether for another second, and it's going to be too late. Ran down by the Chakram. Mangrata pushing it to the absolute limit, getting out all of his mana. But it ends up being a worthwhile investment, and he secures the kill on the Io.
And this is... So, like, the first few levels and things are really sad for the Timber, right? Because he doesn't have this, like, great way of dealing with the wisp on the tree. But he gets all the XP for himself, hits level 6, and then he, like, licks his lips. He's like, hell yeah. Ball of light, you are mine.
The time has come. Monreal getting caught again. This time the snowball from Goddamn was able to land onto the high ground. It's going to be an arena, though, onto Sunlight and Goddamn. And both of them end up getting brought down by Monreal. Tutuka also showing up to this fray to provide the tether to keep this Lina in decent condition. Very nice turnaround there. Burning Fire. They've been putting a lot of resources to try to shut down this Lina, but it turns out it's almost always a 50-50 prospect, because that's yet another death on the Void Spirit when he was trying to go for the aggressive kill onto the Lina.
There was a living armor from the tree there that kept the Lina alive as well. It was really nice. But they're making these natural moves now where the Wisp wants to go to the jungle and take over the camps and stuff to be able to farm. He doesn't have Helm of Dom yet. They got the Timber. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, the tree wants to take over bot lane and just get XP, but it's really difficult to do that against the Timber, so they need to bring more people over. So yeah, the Lina comes over, they get the kill, and now they can feel safe again.
Need some safety.
Because otherwise the tower dies there. It's very sad.
Absolutely, yeah. You need to keep the tower alive. We saw in the previous game how much of an impact it can make when people lose this particular ward that's up here, and whenever the tower's down, it's a lot easier to lose this aspect of vision. Good thing they've been able to defend it for now. Also defend the tower, keep the map as open for themselves as possible. Monreal going for these BTs first on this Lina. Not atypical that we've seen on this hero before. I would prefer the Yules first, but it's fine.
Yeah, the BOTs are both, like, I think they're the only two builds, right? The BOTs feels really good because of how the move speed is like a percentage bonus. So if you have the more flat bonus from the BOTs, or percent bonus, feels even better. And like, you just zoom around all these fights, you play them out really quickly, you shove out waves. I don't mind the Yules as well, but I think against like stuff like Jug and Void Spirit, it goes down in value a little bit.
Top lane, we see that. Speaking of the Void Spirit, he's able to move into the top lane. They finally kill. Gachi will die bottom underneath the tier 1 tower, so they're going to be able to take down the tier 1 bottom after getting that kill onto the Mars in the top lane. That also means they can apply pressure on that side of the map. So it really does feel like Burning Fire are starting to make this map feel a little bit claustrophobic right now for the side of Quirdy. Mangrata just zoning back Petru. Is this actually going to be a kill onto the Phoenix? It looks like it. Fire Spirits will come out. Petru, one more right click is all he needs. They get the Timber Chain dive there. Iru trying to close the gap. Has Arena, has Spear, but Insomnia is also nearby. Will he try to go for a freeze? He just goes for the slow of the Crystal Nova. Will be good enough to get them out to safety. Although it does mean that they can't press the tower.
Jug?
Juggernaut's in a little bit of trouble. Oof. But he's fine. He's fine.
I would have really liked to have seen this Jug made the rotation towards bot lane with the Timber there to get the tier 1. Because now what happens is, they didn't get the tier 1, and they're against the tree. So Living Armor just starts coming through, like they're absolutely fine. And I'm not saying the game's going badly for them, but I feel like they could have made the most of the situation down bot lane there with the Timber doing so well and them getting a kill, if Jug had made the rotation though.
Unfortunately,
but his game's still going really well.
He's going to go for Maelstrom instead of Battle Fury, so he does want a farming item, but wants it to be a little bit more active than the BF just by itself. Does seem to indicate, maybe like, I also imagine that the Chain Lightning is a little bit easier to ensure it gets out onto the creep of Tutuka than the Battle Fury Cleave. Either way, he just wants to get himself a little bit more active on the map. He is now going to move towards middle. He's thinking about joining his team, but no, he's not. He's going to go for one of these Ancients. At the same time, Mangrata's going to get Spear to the wall here. They commit the arena bottom. Goddamn. Trying to close the gap so he can get the snowball save. Not even required, actually, because they can't even kill Mangrata there.
Oh, God.
Wow. Okay.
I think you either commit Overgrowth and Egg, or you accept that you're not going to get the kill.
Yep, and now the kill is going to go in the opposite direction because they commit the Supernova a little bit too late, so they're going to not only able to destroy that, but they've also taken away the life of the Mars first. And with that, Gachi in the trees, he comes out and reveals himself for reasons.
Yeah, but he did get the healing ward. That's pretty sick.
Gets the healing ward. Tutuka as well, also nearby in this fight. Monreal poured into the tier 1 tower to throw in a Laguna Blade. Nobody's died from the side of Burning Fire just yet. The Dragon Slave will be eventually able to bring down this Crystal Maiden. And they're feeling a bit low on HP from the side of Burning Fire, so we can start retreating. Grata will bait out the LSA. Nice Aether Remnant to prevent the further chase from the IO, but with the Sunray and the Spear being thrown forward, they do eventually find the kill onto Non-Grata. Does require all 10 heroes being bottom for this full fight. But on the bright side here, Mo, they still keep the tier 1 tower alive, so Gachi can do what he wants to bring this back. Maybe that's why he dived out. He's like, alright, if I make them waste time killing me, and the rest of my time, the rest of my team is respawning, they come back, and then we just heal the tower back up. Genius.
It's crazy.
What is happening in this game?
It's really frustrating that they can't finish these towers off. On like, and you see this Timber's going to come bot again and be like, yeah, let's just try again, guys. Like, I'm sure we'll get him this time. Oh, this Phoenix. That's really well timed by the Tusk.
Isn't this giving you flashbacks of TI8 Game 1 Grand Finals? Where Seb's playing offlane 3. They keep taking these fights from LGD, but somehow these towers are never dying. Mid lane, they find Monreal, the Yule Scepter from Sunlight, able to catch this Lina out, and they will kill her. She does manage to get the grab onto Insomnia first before she goes down. However, yet another grab for the Sunlight Void Spirit, now on a killing spree. What do you think he goes next after this? I kind of like Aghanim Scepter as the next item build, but I'm not 100% sure it's the best thing for him if he maybe decides he wants to go straight BKB. I don't know. How do you feel? What do you think he should go?
The Axe is really good. He can go BKB if he wants, but I think the Axe is such value. Like, especially against the 2 supports, if you can stop them getting their ults off,
Yeah.
I think it feels really good. Like, he has Fairy Trinket as well. You get to level 15 with the Axe and he gets the extra damage. What did he go? Oh, he went phase boost first.
Oh yeah, he has Brown Boots, so he should probably finish those off. Top lane will finally fall. Buddy able to put this into the grave. Monreal will now start progressing into the Yule Scepter. I think Monreal just really likes BTs in general, because I've actually never seen him not buy BTs when he's playing middle. You see now Snowball onto Iru. There is a Supernova outside of the arena. Can they get the critical onto the Mars? Yes, they can, but the Supernova gonna burst and stun out onto 3. Here comes the follow-up damage from the rest of Query, but it's not enough follow-up damage because with Non-Grata and the Chakram out onto Tutuka, he can't even tether away. They do manage to at least get the Laguna Blade Dragon Slave out to kill the Juggernaut. That is one kill that they've gotten. Crystal Maiden will be next, but Monreal will pay for that with his life as he ends up going down. Gachi, the last hero that's surviving here for the side of Query, and they will be able to bring him down as well. Sunlight, mega kill streak for the Void Spirit. Non-Grata putting out a ton of work in that fight. And now the question is, Mo, is it finally enough? Is a team wipe finally enough to actually grant them a kill onto a tower?
They have got bot tier 1 already. It's not the first one, but it feels, I have to say, it feels really awkward for the Radiant side. When you have this like draft that's built around being able to pop 3 ults together at the same time, the arena egg and overgrowth, I think she's dead again.
Died as soon as she TP'd into the fight. And now they're looking to turn back onto Tutuka or Iru. Iru decides he's going to be the one to sacrifice himself. Oh, Tutuka, no! Why would you tether in there, my friend? You are now going to die. Oh my god. And they also get the Yules out onto Monreal. Easy kill onto the Spina as well. Laguna Blade thrown out onto Sunlight, but blocked up. This Laguna Blade not going to do enough damage anymore because she is still just not enough. There's not enough punch anymore. Sunlight's cool.
I hate to tell you this, Snev, one more bad fight and I think they might call it. I get that vibe from like how they're playing.
Yeah.
I don't know, they can't deal with this Timber at all. The only time they've managed to kill the Timber is when they've managed to like Laguna Blade and get some good like chain damage too. But this Tusk is absolutely massive. He has a blink in 300 gold at 16 minutes into the game. That's with a Falcon Blade. And can I say, when you get Broom Handle on this hero, it feels ridiculous. Like, there's not many times in a game where you'll be allowed to take this, because a lot of the time your one will want it, right? But he found a Possessed Mask for the Jug, so they're like, yeah, sure, Tusk, take the iron. Like, our Voice Spirit has like a Fairy Trinket as well. Everything's great. But this is getting out of control. They have so much damage in like their supports, especially, that every time they find one hero by themselves, they can just blow them up.
And the thing is though, like you were mentioning earlier, just before the game even started, they need so much greed on terms of experience to make this team work, and on farm as well, but in particular on experience for the side of QWERTY, that if the whole squad has to play close together. Bottom lane, Tatuka just gonna get Omni Slash, he's dead, and Zitrax looking to close the gap onto Petru as well. Won't be able to do that just yet. Sunlight in the meantime though does manage to bring down Montreal. There is going to be a big overgrowth. Potentially this does get the kill onto the Jerk. That is a big pickup here for the side of QWERTY. Supernova pops as well onto Mangrata, but yeah, you run away from Mangrata. You run away from Mangrata. You do not sit there channeling Sundering. You run away! And Mangrata will just immediately eviscerate the Phoenix. He's still inside the base right now. There's a tier 2 up, and here he is, forcing them back to their fountain, challenging on the tier 3. Eru's at half HP. And is that enough? Let him go. Let him go. Do not chase him. Do not chase him. Let him go.
This Phoenix is not respecting the Timbersaur's damage, unfortunately. He thinks he can live a lot longer than he can. Yeah. Can I just say they got the perfect neutral items on the Dire side for tier 1, which is really funny to me.
Let's see what would we got. So we have a Fairy Trinket on the Void. On the Void Spirit, like you mentioned, we still have the Possessed Mask on John. Oh god, Chipped Vest on Timbersaw and Broomstick on Tusk. Yeah, that is perfect. Another fight though. Montreal gonna get caught out. Will he die? Yes, he does. Look how quickly he just goes down there. That is your mid hero. And now Iru from the off lane also gonna end up falling. Insomnia triggering off the freezing field. And the entire time they're just leaving Mangrata bottom. Yes, Gachi is annoying him with living armor, but Mangrata's like, alright man, I can literally stay here forever because there's nothing y'all can do to force me away.
And I love that. You remember when OG played this Whisper? Oh, hang on.
Is he? Yeah, he's dead. No chance here. And good kill. When OG played?
When OG played this Whisper TI, do you remember in TrueSat when they had that moment where they gave the Whisper Tone, he hits level 15, and then like all of a sudden he's this completely different hero because he has Ags, and like, oh, it's wow. And then you realise that he gets Ags this game, the talent's at level 20,
yep.
And you're like, oh, okay. It's just not going to have the same effect. It is still good, but oh, the arena missed.
Yeah, didn't catch on to Sunlight. They actually relocated back as well to try and catch him, and they will not be able to do so. Sunlight. I mean, why are you even bothering to chase? It's Void Spirit, fam. Come on.
It's desperation though, right? Where they need to try and find something, and they were so close. It's frustration, desperation.
So it's basically also part of the frustration of having to deal with Mangrata just doing this.
Yeah. Say it.
Oh man.
And it's really frustrating because they haven't really been able to combo an overgrowth and a mega tool yet this game. Apart from once, maybe mid lane, but even then it didn't really feel like it did a huge amount. Because the level 1s on both these skills don't really feel strong anyway. Like you have to have a perfect fight with them. The level 2s are a little bit better.
That is part of the issue. Tatuka, is there a Yules nearby to put him up? Not just yet. As shots go by both. They don't need said Yules, and Tatuka just gets eviscerated. And now Montreal, you are a little bit exposed, fam. Snowball won't catch him out. They walk well up into the air with the Walrus Punch. Very big overgrowth. Is it gonna trigger with the Supernova? Here it comes, and only stands onto the Tusker because Zitrax was busy GG slashing Gachi. So he's not even available to get stunned up. And that was the combo. Well, half the combo at the very least. They didn't have the arena to pop there, but didn't feel like it was going to matter even if they did.
Unfortunately, they're at a point in the game where they're so far behind, it just doesn't really matter. Like, if the game was even, that fight would have been really great for the other side. But because they're like 15k net worth behind, it doesn't matter. Very sad. I'm really surprised they haven't called it yet.
I'm also shocked. Personally, for me, I think the greatest barometer of how you know a game is completely lost is if an opposing team takes a tier 2 mid, just goes straight up onto the high ground without having to go take a Roche. Yeah, it's impossible to fight. And also, they are completely correct. They'd be playing too cautiously if they went back. Oh, never mind. As I say that, Mangrata's major godlike streak ended now. That's a pretty big grab. Them being able to get that beyond godlike streak. 9 kills, 800 gold basically picked up. Now they're chasing onto Goddamn. Goddamn does not have Blink Dagger, of course. He just used it, so he will die 2 here. Okay, that's nice.
Just got a TV.
Nice.
Can they just go Roche or something here, maybe? But
No, they
don't
can't.
really take
They
it,
don't.
do
co-
damage.
Exactly. I was about to say that one of the things that sucks is that they don't have any capability of going to take Roche. Hell, I don't even think they have a medallion, even if they wanted to try and utilize. Okay, they do have that.
Oh, Wisp.
Yeah, they have one medallion. Wisp caught by Sunlight. Is this going to be a solo kill? Sunlight, not really in the mood to lose this game, so he'll do the right thing. Just back.
Going.
Okay.
They do have the axe on the Wisp now.
Oh man, now they get juiced up into the air though. They're thinking about dragging back this IO with the Aether Remnant. They do so. Sunlight jumping into the fight. There is going to be an arena pop now, so Sunlight in a lot of trouble. This time around, he is going to be in danger, but the snowball! Opening space to allow him to get out to safety. Goddamn, opening up to make sure that the Void Spirit does survive. Now they burst down Gachi. Eru trying to escape from this. Tutuka's also gone, and Eru's going to follow them into the grave. At the very least, Petru can TP to safety. But can they catch a break? Honestly, can they just catch a break before quitting? Doesn't seem like it.
Can I just say, there's something nice after last patch about seeing Wisps actually lose games.
I cannot disagree, I'll be honest.
It's such a blessing. And this is going to be a really quick Roche as well, because they have attacked Vidali.
Nah, Goddamn is like, dude, do you. Goddamn's going hunting. Goddamn's going hunting. Goddam's found Monreal. Goddamn knows what's up. He will get used into the air, but there's absolutely no chance that Monreal's going to be able to TP away to safety here. There will be a Wisp relocate thrown in just to make sure they can get Monreal out. But this... just by himself in the base.
His team's team Roche just giving two shits. Like, he's just loving life.
Let's see if they can actually kill him though. And they're doing quite a bit of damage up top him. He does have Lotus Soul.
His team though.
And the team is coming. Will they kill him in time? They have Overgrowth. Sunray was used. Overgrowth will now come out. Where's the Supernova? That's actually a well-placed egg, but now they're just gonna run forth and eviscerate it with the Juggernaut. Arena of Blood is triggered out, but it's not gonna hold all these heroes in time. The GG slash Flying Fuel already taken down the Lina. Eru also in trouble from this one. Will lose his life to Zitrax. Tutuka wants to get into the fray. Built up into the air. He is now in danger because he's right underneath Dongrata and Zitrax, and the two of them will be more than enough to be able to burst him down. Gachi doing his best to maybe choke the creep wave on the other side of the map, but unfortunately does not matter. He dies. Dongrata gonna finish off the job as he's inside the base looking for Eru. The very least of Mars takes away the Aegis of the Immortal, but that's just the one life. No buybacks available for anybody except the Phoenix. Second lane of Rax to fall. On the bright side, the heroes are so under level that they respawn relatively quickly. But the beginning of the end feels like it's been written here, man.
Very unfortunate. They gave it a good go though, right? It's again the same thing. They like if they weren't so far behind, that might have been an okay value. It's just too little, too late. Nanguata just dies and comes back to the fight, and they're like, oh hello again. That's not very fair.
Gachi zone inside his base, can't even leave right now, dying on the steps of the fountain. And Sunlight did fall to about half HP, but they're primarily creating space here for Zitrax. Tutuka does manage to get to a little bit too far forward though, so they burst him down. He's caught out. Monreal, Ice Shards will also make the route to retreat a little bit longer, so he's not going to feel as safe coming back out. LSA connecting onto Non-Grata with the Laguna Blade as well. Non-Grata, very, very tanky, level 20 at this point. And they just can't kill him.
This guy does not care. Dude, where's the flamethrower? Push buildings, Non-Grata. Come on.
Yeah, that is a big disappointment. Where the hell is the flamethrower? What's going on, man? It's 1,400 gold. Don't pretend you don't have that kind of scratch.
I do love that they're winning all these fights though, but they're really struggling to go high ground because of this living armor, just constantly being struck with. So like, it still takes them ages to get it.
4 heroes get caught in the arena with the Supernova outside. It's actually all 5. If you can't win this fight, you can never win any fight. They do manage to get the kill onto the Timber Soul. Freezing Field though from Insomnia, bursting down the Triad Protector as well as Iru. LSA may be able to catch up onto one of these bigger targets. They don't have the Laguna Blade just now. Jump in from Sunlight looking for the back of the fight. They want to try and bring down Tutuka. This Io falling very low. Zitrax will be able to burst them down as they get the kill. Omni Slash at the ready. So if Monreal gets caught out again, he might get GG Slash. Zitrax looking for it. Heals up again. But Lina, she is going to die here. No survival is going to be possible. And as she goes down, GG well played is called. They throw in the towel. Quarter, you've had enough. GG splash inside the fountain. Triple kill for the jug. But it's over here, Mo. They did it. Burning fire, keep the hope alive.
This Reddit team, I think game one really hurt them. Because I think that they didn't really give themselves a chance to win with how they played, right? Like, and then coming into this game too, I feel like their draft, although I don't like it as much as the other teams still, because I think this Timbersaw just has a free game, right? Like after they pick these opening, like Phoenix Mars tree, I think at least they gave themselves a good chance after the like in the laning stage and things, right? Like mid lane seemed to be going okay. Then all of a sudden the Tusk comes over, gets that kill on the Lina before she hits the level 6, and I think that was a big game changer, like a moment in the game, because it allowed the Void Spirit to actually be able to play Dota.
Yeah, because then Void Spirit can actually do things on the map, right? Not just stuck in this position where he's like, ah, man, the Lina lane sucked. And then once he started doing things, it felt like they didn't need him. He just needed to be able to set up, right? Damage was going to come from so many different quarters. Like, you love it when you're in those situations as Void Spirit. He didn't even have to go for the Aghanim Scepter after getting the Yules, because he's like, well, as long as I'm not dying and I'm just enabling the rest of my team, the damage will come. And of course, he knows Non Grata will go in. Non Grata will dive. That's where the damage needs to come from. So, I don't know. What do you think they could have done, potentially, differently to try and win this one out?
I don't know, it's really difficult when like this bot lane did really well, but unfortunately the Timber gets level 6 first, then kills the Wisp. I think this top lane was a bit of a disaster for QWERTY. Like this Phoenix dying as much as he did to the Jug, like before he hits level 2 especially, was really key for them. But this mid lane, I think maybe having vision to see this Tusk rotating mid or something, I'm not really sure. Because I'm pretty sure what happened was the Void Spirit brought out a sentry and dewarded the Lina's ward relatively early, which enabled them to find and kill the Lina without her being able to see the Tusk. But I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, it just kind of, maybe if they can use their ultis a little bit more in tandem together early, maybe they can find some good team fights and kills and things, but their damage output is so low until Wisp gets Ags that it's going to be tough either way.
I was honestly just hoping that the advice you'd give is not pick carry Wisp. I hope that should be the advice. Never carry Wisp ever again. We're done. It's over. That's in the past.
The thing is though, that hero can definitely still work. It just, you can't just first pick it now every game and expect it to just auto win.
Don't
right?
tell them that
you
it
have
can
to
still
put
work.
a bit more thought into it.
Shh. Don't tell them it can still work. No. We're trying to... Listen, I'm
but
trying to save
it's
our
good.
pubs. I'm trying to save our pubs here. Right?
I don't care if people pick Wisp against me now. Like, yeah, it's still really annoying, and yeah, I still think it's okay, but you can actually beat it now.
It is definitely
which is
beatable.
important.
Yeah. Now it's actually beatable, which is very, very good. Doesn't look as oppressive as it used to. So the changes have worked out, and we do see Boofy, Burning Fire. They might not have been overall the best and cleanest performance from them. You know, they were done a lot of favors by QWERTY, let's just say that. But they do keep the dream alive, and we'll see whether or not they can make it into the playoff bracket. But that will depend all on the games that they still have coming later today. But now though, we are going to be taking a quite long break, as the next game only starts in about 1 hour 20 minutes. That's how well Burning Fire did in this particular series. They kind of ran over the side of QWERTY in its entirety. So we do have a lot more time to spend. So go take a nap, go take a walk outside, skip some rope. I don't know, it's a Saturday. Hang out, have fun. But make sure that as you're doing it, you'll come back in time for the next game. In the meantime, also make sure that you are following the channel, that you're following Mo Farah on Twitter. Make sure you show him some love. Show him some love. Every time you see somebody talking about, hey, which analyst should be put out here, make sure you put Mo's name in your mouth. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we say goodbye to him. Thank you so much for your time, comrade. And I will see you all in about an hour as we continue with some more incredible Dota 2 action.
rise from the fire. Rise from the fire. Time to rise. Rise from the fire. Time to rise. Rise from the fire. Time to rise. Rise from the fire. You know it's time to rise from the fire.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the side of TPB are going to be forfeiting today's match. They were not able to field a full team for the match, so that means that Into the Breach Esports, ironically enough, just need to win 1 BO3, and then they guarantee themselves a place in the playoffs. They got the easy way, fortunately for them. Let's see if they can keep this up later. So yeah, sadly, I'll check y'all in a bit. I'm actually off for today, so I'll only be back on Monday. Yeah, only be back on Monday for playoffs. I might be back later, but it's unlikely. But Click to Stream will be obviously out here, so just keep it locked on the channel, and you'll be able to see the rehost immediately. Thank you all.